So when Trump was in office, Congress failed to address his national emergency when he declared national emergencies. So because of that, he had to initiate what is called the emergency and wartime powers of the president to federalize the National Guard to active duty, which is why you saw so many National Guard in DC. The only person that can terminate the national emergency is the president. The only person who's declared national emergencies is Commander-in-Chief Trump. Guess who gets to terminate those and address the nation? Commander-in-Chief Trump, because of Congress. And since Congress failed to do their job on the presidential federal corporation side, along with a continuation of government, you, the people, must see the destruction of the federal corporation from within. As Commander-in-Chief of the military occupancy, a military plug president to the FC. I still don't know what FC is. Oh, Federal Corporation. So as military Commander-in-Chief of the military occupancy, a military plug president to the Federal Corporation, President Trump used emergency and wartime powers of the presidency to extend his power as president for those who cannot see or understand the military occupancy. Commander-in-Chief Trump made multiple optic drops and comms in comparison to World War II, Pearl Harbor, and FDR, because FDR is the only other president that had to do this in history. This was all stuff on the books. It wasn't like laws that Trump put in place. Remember, all presidents before Commander-in-Chief Donald John Trump had passed these laws, orders, and regulations. Franklin D. Roosevelt used wartime powers as president, along with many other of the same codes from the Constitution to do so. The War Powers Act of 1941 and 42 granted President Franklin D. Roosevelt extensive powers to support the war effort and provide with the nations with defense. The bill merely gives the president powers that are necessary to win the war, but powers that should be returned to Congress when the war has been won. So because, and it's obvious, nobody would work with Trump, right? So I would anticipate the military would have anticipated that happening. So they didn't want to address his national emergencies, right? I mean, that's just obvious to me. I reported those cameras, which seem like an emergency to me. It's a blacklisted. But I mean, the big emergencies. But even it's obvious because of all the hate that they threw at him, they wouldn't work with them. It didn't matter what side. And Trump did refer to COVID as the worst attack since Pearl Harbor. So it was seen as an enemy biological attack. And that should be obvious to most people that have been following any of this because of where, Anthony Fauci and many of the science has been in regards to Wuhan and our intelligence agencies. It wasn't just an accident. Excuse me. At this point, any American that's holding out hope for anybody, I mean any of them, in Washington, why? They wouldn't work with Trump. And you may think, oh no, there's new ones there. There's really not. There's really not. Do you think this side that played games in 2020, you think they just let some Marjorie Taylor Greene in because she's a patriot? No. It was always a red flag to me. It was like she was just thrown in there to give you this illusion. They still haven't addressed they're not addressing anything really. And the reason I say this is because even if you're not on TikTok, this will affect you. In early March, both sides of the aisle brought a bill forward called the Restrict Act. Yes, in It's the Patriot Act 2.0, focused on Americans. Basically, if something gets banned, like TikTok or whatever they deem that they want to ban, and you use a VPN to get around it, they can charge you $250,000 fine. Anything that uses the internet, your private banking, cameras to your house, anything troubling or that they deem as the state deems as disinformation can be investigated by someone appointed, not elected. And the people that supported this bill all have stocks in Google and Meta. So Washington is not there to help you. Washington is there to put a good acting job on and protect themselves. And really, they're showing who they are. They are. When Trump says they're coming after us, he means us. He does. He means Americans. They're flooding what did he say in his last rally? He thinks that the people coming across the border is over 1 million. Was it daily, weekly? I forget. But way more than what they're saying. Why would that be? Why do they want that? Why won't any Republican border state do anything? Why is Abbott so hell-bent on banning TikTok too? Well, because people like me are on here calling him a trafficker, him and DeSantis, because they trafficked people. They did. They trafficked illegal immigrants. They could have called an invasion, and they didn't. It's on the books. It's in the Constitution that when the federal level fails, the states can call an invasion and they can deport themselves. Instead, they have yet. None of those governors have done that. They just start letting the people flood through. And why is that? Because they're people that hate America. They are. They don't care about you being an American. They don't care about themselves being an American. They want their money and their special elite status. And if it means getting rid of Americans and having a whole country full of illegal immigrants, they're fine with that. The American people need to see the obvious here. It's sad. It's very sad, but these are people that are just scumbags. They are. I know it's so hard to believe there's so many of them, but that's what's going on. They wouldn't work with Trump. Think about it. No matter how much you hate somebody, you still should work with them, most especially when the country's under an attack, a biological attack. They wouldn't. They wouldn't investigate the national emergency that he laid out. And so because of that, he had to take things into his own hands, as I just read. So that's the way it is. People can see that, or they can continue to believe the media. The same media that keeps telling you that it's China, the same people in Congress that keep saying that, and yet Trump just had a rally and said it's not China. It's not China. It's the powerful political class of elites that are the danger. And when they're talking about restrict acts, then all they're doing in Washington is figuring out how they can prevent you from having any freedom at all. That's all the Republicans and Democrats, all of them, are doing in Washington, no matter how good they sound on the news. Do you trust the news and them more than you trust Trump? I don't, not a chance. Because everything Trump has said, even when all their hate spewing, has been right. And he said he has them all. So why does this play out? So the American people wake the hell up. See what your own countrymen that you think have your back are doing to this country and to you.